my parents down and said my life was fragile. Perspective is the game, and GaryVee the name. Just put your head down, do the work, and everything will change. Sipping tea, helping feels, yeah, that's what I wanted. Being patient, hella tricky, if I'm being honest.
See what GaryVee puts in positivity.
Good morning, Vayner Nation. What's good? Thursday, August 6th in the building. I am Gary Vaynerchuk. This is Tea with GaryVee, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Let's go a little bit more rapid fire today. I want to get through a lot more guests. We've gotten a little long-winded in our last 3 or 4 episodes. Good morning, Dustin. How are you today, my friend?
Excellent.
I like that. Anything interesting?
I stayed up too late looking at eBay.
There's nothing more fun than really having fun and making money.
Haven't made money yet, but
you have.
I'm thinking long term.
You have. If you liquidated right now your Pokemon cards,
yeah.
How much have you helped the audience? How much have you put in, and how much realistically, and how much have you? Because the Pokemon market's selling by the second.
Yeah.
What do you really think? Like on some real shit. While you're doing that, I'm just gonna say hello to Mohammed and Bessel and Behind the Lens, and it's Danielle May. Good to see you here on Twitch. Chris Webb on YouTube. Michael Jennings on Facebook. Shout out to Jay Masty on Twitter. Ashley Cecilia, Alexa Nana in the building. The Nana's in the building. What do you got, Dustin?
I think I spent about $3,000.
Yep.
But I mean, these 2 PSA 10s right now are going for like $1,000 each at least. So
what's the net? What do you think?
Oh, I don't know. At least double, I think.
Yeah, all in like a month.
Yeah. So
it's hard to take $3,000 and turn it into $6,000 in a month.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing I'm debating now is just whether or not to flip it, like you said, or hold on to it and hope that it's going to get even higher.
I think with Pokemon, especially the premium stuff you've been buying, show some cards, people are asking. I think you hold a little bit more, man. I don't think it's time.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
What do you got? Charmander?
Charmander PSA 10, Charmander PSA 9. These are all first edition.
Shadowless.
Yeah.
All first edition Shadowless, $19.99. Yep. You got Pikachu yellow cheeks there? Did I see that?
Yeah, right? I got a red cheeks on the way.
Zoom in on that one. A 9 red cheeks, right?
Yeah.
This is a 9 or a 10?
This is a 9. Right? I can't afford 10s.
All right, let's get into it.
Cool.
What's good, man?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? What's your name?
My name's Tormund. I'm a Rocket League player.
I'm very aware. How are things?
Things are good. It's pretty early right now, but I'm excited to be here. So
I'm excited to have you too. Why don't you tell everybody what Rocket League is? I wanted you to be the first guest today because yesterday my investment group, which I am a minority owner in, obviously is involved in the Call of Duty League with the Rocker. But yesterday we announced our foray into the Rocket League. So for everybody who's watching quite a bit of, I'm sure the Twitch crew will know, but for the people watching on some of the other platforms, why don't you explain what it is?
So Rocket League in like simple terms, I guess, is, everyone has a car and your goal is to hit the ball in the net. So basically soccer with cars. Obviously it's more complex than that, but that's the simple way. It's how I always explain it to family and people that don't understand it. So
how did you get into it?
Well, there is like a prequel to it that's like pretty small on was on PlayStation 3. It has a really long name, so I could say it if you want.
Say it.
All right, it was called Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Powered Battle Cars.
Yep.
And I played that when I was super young, and it wasn't very big.
And were you naturally good at it?
Not really.
Okay.
I just played it for fun. But yeah, when Rocket League got announced in 2015, I picked it up immediately because I just remembered that game back from when I was like 9 or 10, and loved it ever since. And I played it since the release for 5 years now.
I love it. And so what are you seeing in terms of popularity and awareness?
In Rocket League in general,
yep.
Or I mean, the game.
Rocket League gaming obviously we know, but specifically to Rocket League, for me it seems over the last 24 months shit got really, really hot.
I think Rock League recently has been doing really well. The RLCS has been doing well viewership wise, which is always great. And the game's actually going free to play soon, which is I think is massive for the game in general. And I'm really excited about the future, and hopefully it grows even more with that. And we the people that have been there since the beginning, I guess, love to see that, obviously.
You have any questions for me? Anything I can answer?
I didn't prepare any questions. I could think of something maybe.
Fire away. If you got something, if not, no big deal.
Oh, I guess you recently invested in Rock League. So what do you see in it? I guess what do you see in the future?
To me, this is like the 1930s and 40s and 50s when the NFL, when basketball, when the NHL, like there was a period where outside of baseball, you started seeing leagues forming in other sports. I feel that's what's happening right now with esports. Like it is very clear to me until the day that you and I die and when our grandkids are running around this world, that esports is looked upon to them the way that you and I would look at baseball or football, 15 years ago. So for me, I'm trying to figure out which ones are going to pop, which ones have evergreen DNA in them. To your point, paying attention to the format of the game, even like going back to when I was a kid, whether in Nintendo formats, whether it was like the Robot Baseball 2050 or whatever it was called, or like RC Pro-Am, or just like the car sport dynamic has always like kind of fascinated me. And to me, soccer or football is such a forever global game that for me, Rocket League's DNA kind of in football, soccer is an interesting nuance, and I think a very sticky game in watching. I watched myself pay attention to my brother AJ playing that more with his buddies than other esports games, and so I just kind of like a lot of the nuances of the game, and it really drove me to being a voter of yes. Is this one of the sports we want to expand into?
Yeah, that's true. Like Rock League at the base level is like really easy to understand as well, and compared to a lot of other esports. So.
Awesome, brother. Well, listen, continued success. You're an incredible talent in the sport, and I'm looking forward to interacting with you more.
Thanks so much, Gary. Appreciate having me on.
Of course, brother. Talk to you soon.
You too.
Keep it moving. Sorry, just taking care of one issue at work. Holly, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Gary?
I'm well. Where are you from?
I'm from Wisconsin.
Awesome. Well, hope you're well.
Thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to have me on the show. I'm a huge, huge fan. I listen to your podcasts when I'm driving. I'm always following your content. Such great content. So
thank you.
I'm really excited. Really nervous, but I'm really excited.
Hold on. Before we move on, is that Chewbacca with a surfboard behind you?
Yes. So my fiance, when I first met him, he had like the whole bachelor pad type ordeal, and that's all he had in his house.
Love it. So good. All right, let's get to your question.
So I just want to run a little bit of context about me real quick. Kind of grew up so basically I grew up in a foster care system, and I was about 14 years old, and I feel like my story is pretty unique. I feel like I can reach out to a lot of people because of my situation, but I grew up really, really fast. I was basically forced out of I was basically forced out of my house, and just bouncing from group home to group home, and it was just insane. And I almost didn't graduate high school, but I did. I ended up graduating college, and I was the only person in my family to graduate college, which I think is speaks volumes in a huge way. And so right now, I am an entrepreneur. I just started a home staging business. And, one of my questions for you is just how do you, as far as like in the pandemic, how do you see home staging? How do you see me advancing my home staging in this pandemic, in this, when we have all these uncertainties right now?
Well, I mean, I think you just got to get through it, right? I mean, like the reality is you can't change the macro. You can only execute on your micro. And what I mean by that is you going on live, starting Facebook groups, posting on your Instagram, connecting on LinkedIn, putting out content, building a community, using the communication infrastructure of live streaming and things of that nature. You've got to build relationships right now virtually. So when we go back to reality, those individuals convert into word of mouth or actual clients in your home staging business. You just got to hold on. I mean, when the pandemic hit, I had to go through a very devastating 2 weeks where we had to let go of employees. We had to restructure, banking relationships. Like it was fucking hard, but there is no other option. It was the reality of the situation. Clients were going out of business. Clients were emailing me saying, we're not paying you, and you have responsibilities, you have payroll, you have things of that nature. So, to me, it's very clear with this disease or, this virus that when you look at Italy and Spain and Asia, there will be a time when we get out of this in America. Unfortunately, we as a country have politicized it. That's just our DNA sometimes. And people are debating things that are, putting us in a position where we're just going to have to wait longer, which is not fun, but is very much the true situation. But I do think that you can absolutely look for a time early next year where we're going to be back to some level of new normal. People will still sell houses. They will need to stage them. So good news, your thing doesn't die post this world. And I think you just need to, if I'm you, I'm spending all my time on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn and building relationships in a 40-mile radius. That's all my brain thinks about.
Okay.
And then that's the offense, and the defense is don't spend money on dumb shit. Or sell the Chewbacca, well, not the Chewbacca, but maybe the guitar next to it. Like whatever, to me, it's like whatever it takes to survive. And know that it's on the other side. So it becomes a mental warfare. And the beauty is your incredibly difficult childhood has prepared you incredibly for adversity. So you just got to wait, just wait.
Awesome.
But waiting doesn't mean laying on the couch and crying about it. Like, oh, fuck, this is such bullshit. Waiting means I know this is coming. Now let me wait in the macro, but in the micro, I'm going to fucking make 60,000 friends on the internet between now and then. Got it?
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Gary.
Take care. Bye-bye, Mel.
Thanks. Bye.
Macro patience, micro speed. Chip, what's good?
Gary, I'm really good. Thank you ever so much for having me on. I'm one of probably very rare UK guests for you guys. I don't see many of those UK guys on the show.
Oh, we get them.
Yeah, you get them every now and again. I feel like a celebrity being sat next to you. I've followed you for many, many years and what you've done. At first, when I first saw like little bits and bobs about you, I wasn't really sure what you did. I thought you were just one of these inspirational speaker guys that's not really been there. And then I looked into your history and what you've done, and yeah, it completely turned my opinion of you upside down, if I'm honest. You've been there, you've done it, and you're really at the top of your game. Although, if I'm honest with you, I don't think there is a top. I think it just keeps going.
Thank you for saying that.
I'm not just here to get Dustin jealous. I have got some. I'm a bit of a Pokemon collector.
Ooh,
I have been for
look at this.
Quite a while. He's seen it in the backstage area.
I'm jealous.
Hold on. Let me show you my
that's a
my
real Charizard.
really nice booster box.
That's a real clean box. Good for you, mate.
I've got about 5 of them in total, different boxes. I've got that Charizard there as well, which is a nice one. That's worth about $1,000 UK money. My question is about Pokemon. That was just to get Dustin jealous. I'm a YouTuber. I do gambling content based over here in the UK. I'm near Nottingham, or Robin Hood, as you guys call him. And basically, I stream every day to YouTube and Twitch. I have affiliate deals with the casinos, which is what my business is based off in the background. The casinos will pay me for players that sign up. You get a percentage as well of what people lose. That's a business model. There's a few of us that do it. It's profitable. It's good, and I'm really happy with it. I just want to give you a little bit of context about me, and then I'll lead on to my question. So, 19 years ago, I sat on a wall in the cake factory that I worked in. I used to empty the bins there, and that was my job. I earned basic pay, basically.
Yep.
I got that job because for 4 years before that, I was just basically a dosser. I was just messing around, not doing anything. My daughter arrived, and I was like, right, you need to sort your shit out because this is just not a life to live. I went from that cake factory into a company called Vodafone, which is a massive UK corporation. You've heard of them. And I worked my way through Vodafone from walking in the door as a sales advisor with no experience. I learned how to do the job, to becoming in the top 1% of salespeople in the whole of Vodafone UK. And I did that in about 3 years. Which for me, I'm from a very poor background. My dad left when I was a kid. My mum brought us up, 4 of us on our own. We didn't have anything. And to all of a sudden have something was great. And it all went wrong at Vodafone. They changed everything. The commission structure went to crap. And I wouldn't say I was back to square one, but it knocked me back quite a bit.
Is that because you weren't saving money, you were spending it because you never had it, so you were buying things?
Yeah, that is exactly it. Yeah, I just blew the money because it was like, I remember payday back when I worked in the cake factory, and it was like, oh my God, I can afford to have a takeaway tonight. It was great. All of a sudden, I've got lots of money. I'm like, what can I buy? I'm buying everything I can just because I've never had money. Obviously, treating my mom and that kind of thing and making sure that she's all right. But the money dried up, and then I was kind of back to square one, went from another job to another job. Started doing casino streams in the evenings, and I was working for a marketing company. Money was okay; it was decent money, and all of a sudden, I'm earning good money again. And it's now to the point where the business is incredibly successful. I am unbelievably blessed with how it goes. I want to push things on to the next level, and I know how to do it. I know the financial implications of doing it, but what worries me is that it will all go wrong. And I'll end up back in that wall in the cake factory again, 19 years ago, where it all came from. How did you get past that fear?
I am not fully sure, and let me explain what I mean by that. Because when you were just talking, I think a lot about my dad, who I feel, because he also came from zero, came here, I noticed that in his 40s, like, he became more risk adverse.
Yeah.
And I felt that he became risk adverse because he did have an underlying fear to go back.
And that's exactly where I'm at.
And I always think about, like, what's the trigger point for somebody? I think it has a little bit to do with ambition. You know, for me, I'd rather go back to living in a studio apartment and start over because I think I have a romantic point of view of the dirt.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think it's how, you know, you stayed in the dirt for so long that you're like, fuck that. I was in the dirt for a while. Then we were, you know, I was also making so much money as a kid because I was good at it. I'm just not scared to lose everything because I don't act that way. Like, I would never do something that would make me lose everything. B, I always have a nest egg of, like, cash. You know, just like,
well, my nest egg is this.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a risky nest egg, you know, as you know, right? Like, now look, I think actually Pokemon as an alternative investment is extremely attractive. You know, I myself, in my own actions in the last 3 years, have put a lot more money into cards than I have into startups or stocks on Wall Street or cash sitting in the bank.
Yeah. The thing is, there's only a certain amount of these things left. The boxes, especially the booster boxes, YouTubers are opening them all the time. I don't open the box, I just buy them as an investment. For instance, I bought a first edition Team Rocket box a year ago for £2,600. I sold it 4 months later for double the money, thinking I'd done really well. If I still had that box from 1 year ago that cost me £2,600, it's now £10,000 for that box. The prices are crazy.
I mean, look, I bought 53 LeBron James rookie cards
I
last
know.
year.
I've seen what your collection's like.
For $1,000, it's $16,000 a piece. It's really hard to do that. Here's what I would say, Chip. I would keep saving money, maybe liquidate some of the cool shit you have, and put it into a bank account that if God forbid this risk you're thinking about taking goes to zero, you still have that dollar amount, and that's enough to pay for a year of living for you and your family. More humble, you may have to move, this and that. I think I've always had the peace of mind that if everything goes to zero, I have enough to eat and have a shelter for a year and then build back up. And you've done it twice already, which means you can do it again.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Gary. Thank
That's
you,
it.
mate.
You got it, mate. We'll talk
Take
soon.
care.
Keep pushing.
Thank you.
GaryVee, what's up?
What's good, Helen?
How are you?
I'm well, and you?
I'm good. Quick story. I was just at the wine library, like literally a couple weeks back.
Thank you.
I'm from Milburn, so like we're always there. But I go upstairs and I'm like with my friends. I'm like, guys, come here. I find this gigantic cardboard cutout of you. I'm just staring at it. My friends have no idea who you are. They're like, who is this guy? But I was literally like, no, guys, like I'm gonna work for his company one day, or like I'm gonna meet him one day. Fast forward to today. So happy with you. So thank you for taking the time, and shout out to Team Gary. Thank you guys for working so hard.
Thank you.
So just a bit of background. I am a first-generation American. So my family's from Tbilisi, Georgia. So it's in Europe. For those of you who don't know, it's a really small country.
Not Georgia. For everybody who's watching, like
not the
before the comments, everyone's like, "This girl's from Georgia." No, Georgia, the country, former Soviet.
The country, yeah, exactly. And I just graduated with my bachelor's of science in digital marketing and communications. So, just like every other 2020 graduate, I'm looking for a full-time job right now. And I've always been super into like the television, social media, TV production, influencers realm, like anything having to do with entertainment. Like I'm there, like that's where my passion lies, and that's eventually where I want my career to go. However, I have had like other experiences. So just a couple years back, I worked off of Wall Street, like a super successful company. I was a production management intern. Incredible experience. I learned so much within the 2 months that I worked there for the summer. The team was incredible. Not only that, but the company itself was actually phenomenal. Like you could actually tell that they wanted the best for their interns and they wanted us to learn and grow. However, that company was within the healthcare industry, and obviously not an industry within my passion. But it was like my first internship. So, I was kind of taking any opportunity I got, and it was overall just an incredible learning experience. But my goal for the next summer was to essentially work within the entertainment industry as an intern, but also to move out to LA and work out there for the summer. And shout out to my best friend at Lisi Pinto on Instagram. She let me stay at her place for the whole entire summer. So we kicked it out in LA, and I actually got an internship out there as well. So, I picked up and moved. My parents were literally like, you're insane. Like, mind you, they're like right off the boat, like Georgian. So they're like, you're insane for doing this. But I was like, I'm going, see ya. So basically I was there for 2 months. I interned for the social media influencer agency. I was an influencer campaign management intern. So I did a lot of like influencer scouting on like Instagram and YouTube. I did a lot of like campaign management as well. So like with partnerships and brand deals for our creators and things like that. So it ended up being such a good fit, such a good fit that they ended up wanting to keep me on the team. So at the end of August, like I went back to school, but I also interned out there. So instead of my internship being for 2 months, it was for 8 months. And, overall, it was such a good experience. It was my second internship.
Did you love it?
I loved it so much. And like, that's like how I knew like for sure that I wanted to be in the entertainment industry and just like work in that realm,
Okay.
So fast forward to now, obviously I just graduated and clearly we're in a recession. So there are a lot of hiring freezes going on currently, nationwide. So the company that was the better fit, the social media agency, they're not hiring, while the first company, the healthcare company, is hiring. Yes, exactly. So
you should take that job and then save some money. And then when the social media agency is hiring, you should quit the healthcare job and go to LA.
That was exactly my question. Like,
That's your answer, Helen.
Yeah. Okay. I have an interview with them today.
Good. Go crush it.
Really good timing. All right.
Good. Hey, of course. Like, what are you gonna do? Sit around and hope?
Exactly.
Like,
I was like,
Helen, this is the worst strategy of all time.
yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I completely agree. And I'm like,
and you're not worried about this bullshit that I hear from kids that you go to the healthcare company, you're there 4 months, the LA company says what's good, and then you leave and you're like scared that on your resume it's okay. I'm hearing all this shit from the kids like, oh, I can't fucking. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So about taking risks. Like I've been working since I was 14. Like and I haven't stopped since. So like I'm always about like hustling and like just like going at it. So like any opportunity, and like I'm very adaptable too. So if like something does go wrong with
take that job. The industry of influencers and like that whole world is going to be in play for the rest of your life. Yeah. You want to go to LA?
Yeah, eventually. That's why I did my internship out there, because I had an idea, but that was like when I was spent there 2 months over there, I was like, for sure, like eventually I want to move out there. So, I wanted like a bi-coastal company, and this company that I'm about to interview with today is also bi-coastal. So,
take the healthcare job, get money, save it, don't buy dumb shit, and then when LA comes calling, go.
All right, for sure. Also, I have another like really quick question.
Fast.
So right now, like my Instagram is very like basic, like sorority college girl vibe, and I kind of like want to steer away from that because I feel like I just want to like motivate people to like
post,
do better, but it's like just so random. Like it's
not random.
Yeah. I guess so. But like you suggest posting on my own Instagram and not like a whole new one.
Yeah. You're just worried about your real friends seeing it.
But I would create a new one and like just do it that way. But I want my friends to see it because I also promote to motivate them.
Good. So what's the problem?
I feel like I don't know.
What the fuck is random? Define random for me. Get the fuck out of here, Helen.
Yeah,
fucking post. Like don't overdo shit. Like, and you've got all the characteristics to not 14 hustling immigrant, like post. The fuck's going to happen? What do you think? It's going to undermine your fucking pretty grid? Like, I don't understand. What?
I don't know. My grid isn't even that pretty, but
my grid is straight garbage.
I know. I feel you. Yeah, no, definitely. I think I'm going to start doing that too.
Please listen, Helen, today, go fucking show those healthcare fuckers that you want this job and go post something random as fuck. That'll be a good fucking day.
Let's get it.
All right, see ya.
Thank you so much. Later.
Frederick.
GaryVee.
What's good?
How you doing, sir?
I'm well. Where are you right now?
I'm in Texas.
Beautiful. It's a real pleasure.
Yes, sir.
What can I answer for you?
Well, first, I appreciate you for letting me get on the show. Shout out my family, the Marching Storm, my little sister. She's in basic right now at West Point. But my question was, I just started interning for a couple of websites. They're two Christian hip hop websites. I don't know if you're familiar with the Christian hip hop space, but I'm a journalist, and I'm a journalism major at Prairie U A&M, and I'm basically taking the right steps, I feel like. But I know one day I'll eventually want to freelance be a freelance journalist, make money off of this. Right now, I have no problem doing this for free because this is experience, and I love doing what I'm doing.
100.
But
you love Christian hip hop too?
Yes, sir.
Well, then you're double winning, right? Like
yes, sir.
People are fun. They're fancy out here. Like I got some kid an opportunity with like a top 10 hip hop artist, top 10, and they weren't going to pay, and he got all like fancy, and he thought he had leverage or something, and they were like cool, and they just went with the next person, and then that person came back crying to me like, can you get me another bat? I'm like, no, I fucking went to bat for you, and you got fancy.
Yes, sir.
And I'm like, and you love hip hop? Are you out of your mind? I'm like, if I told you 2 years ago, Frederick, I bet you if I told you that you'd have to pay to do this, you'd be open to it if you could afford it because you love it.
Yes, sir.
So I'm listening.
So I'm just wondering, what's the next steps? Once I get ready to graduate and stuff, how do I market myself off to people as having a portfolio?
I think you take all the articles, all the images, everything you've put out, and you literally just cold email and send LinkedIn messages and say, yo, I'm Frederick. I'm good at my craft. Would you like to talk to me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You understand? I mean, it's really, are you scared to do that? Do you think that won't work? Does that scare you? Because I want to really help you here.
Well, I'm just confused because it's all new to me. I really didn't think, in a sense, I didn't think I'd get this far.
Well, listen, you
But
are, and you
here I am.
Yeah, here you are, and you're a child, my man. You're young. So, like, not only have you gotten this far, you've clearly got the skills to go to the next level. Go and ask for it. When you're ready, literally email and LinkedIn message the 40, 50 humans that work at the 4 to 5 places that you're dreaming to write for. And you'll, you don't ask, you don't get, you'll be stunned what happens.
Yes, sir. All right, I appreciate that.
Does that make sense to you? Because I really want to make sure you have a blessed day too, but
sir.
Did it really, you could do it.
Yes, sir.
You feel like
makes
you
a lot
can?
of sense. Yes, sir, I do. Believe me, I have no problem with confidence. I do.
Listen,
yes, sir. And
let me throw you something else because because I really like you. My email is Gary@VaynerMedia. And after you do that for 3 months, if nothing pops off, I want you to email me personally, okay?
Yes, sir.
And
Gary VaynerMedia.
Gary@VaynerMedia, and I want you to put in the title, Gary, it's Frederick, the yes sir man from Texas. And I'll remember because of that. Yes, sir. And we'll do some stuff. And actually, you know what? Even more interestingly, Dustin, can you get Frederick connected with Tyler from 1:37 p.m.? I think we should have him write something for 1:37 p.m. just to give him more exposure.
Yep.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow. God is good. Wow.
God is very.
And also, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. All the time. And I've been watching your stuff since I was a junior in high school. I found you on Instagram, and I learned what flipping was from you and investing, and just to be here talking to you right now. You don't know how much you've done for me. I appreciate you. You talked me through college, high school, and right now through this whole pandemic, sir. So I appreciate you so much.
I love you a lot, Frederick. We'll talk soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Sir. I'm in the best mood. Yes, sir. Let's keep it going.
What is up, GaryVee? Can you hear me?
Very well, Tanner. How are you?
Awesome. I'm amazing. This is surreal that this actually happened. I wasn't expecting it to actually work, but it worked.
It works.
So I first of all want to say thank you. You gave me a lot of motivation after a lot of hard talks with my parents about not wanting to go to college. And they definitely, they have a certain way of thinking towards college. And I remember just listening to you and watching your videos right after having those conversations and knowing that there is like more than what the paradigm is here in our household. So, and I'm really glad. I'm super glad. So, quick background story. I'm from Minnesota. I'm 21 years old. When I was 18 and I graduated from high school, I took a gap year and decided to just taste things and everything. I went to California and Hawaii and traveled all alone. And then I pretty much discovered within that gap year, luckily, what I loved. So I've been playing music my whole life, but the same way that you said that you love to go on garage sales on the weekend and you do that for free and it's like just a bonus that you get money from it. I love to street perform. I street perform every weekend now, and it's honestly like it's just like the best time I could possibly have. I just get to play songs for people and get to meet random strangers of all different variety of all shapes and colors and everything, and music brings us together. So
good for you.
So yeah, for the past 3 years
you know what's the most exciting about loving that game? You're in play at all times. Like I have to wait for garage sales to pop up,
Yeah.
But you can go anywhere and just go. And I think that's remarkable.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, things got a little weird with COVID, but
things got weird for everybody with COVID.
Yeah.
That's just a blip in the radar. That's just going to be, if you're lucky enough to be somebody who wasn't affected with the death of somebody you love and your family, that's just going to be stories that we tell in 20, 30 years, 40 years. And I think a lot of people fondly because they reconnected with different parts of themselves. Even though there's a lot of carnage, the death stuff is not fondly, it's the most devastating part. But if you put that in a separate category, for the people that lost jobs and things of that nature, I actually have a funny feeling that in 20, 30 years, it looks like some of the things you see from the recessions or 9/11 or the 87 stock market crash. Sometimes that one step backwards helps people go 4 steps forward.
Yeah,
For example, Tanner, I apologize. I'm sure you're realizing how much you love it because you can't do it right now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and so for the past 3 years, I've been going really hard, and things have been going up and up and up. And in this last fall of 2019, I broke the world record for world's longest street performance. I just Googled it one day, and I was like, is this possible? And it was 25 hours, so I beat it by an hour, and that helps kind of get the exposure out. Because a lot of the time I started out with just keeping my music to like my friends and everything, but that was a good way to get people's attention, because like that's what you talk about all the time is getting attention and everything. So that went super well, and things started going up real quick, and then right at COVID, it all seemed to, and yeah, it's been that way for everyone. So I've been telling myself that it's a blessing in disguise, and this was the way that it was. I mean, whatever happens is kind of the way it's meant to happen.
I believe in that.
So so I'm seeing it as a blessing, and I'm staying in the offense, and yeah, it's still going well. Like I'm going all in. But my question,
what's the question?
My question is, with regards to that, with going all in, I had a couple people on my team. Like I have a person that helps produce for me, and I have 7 songs out now, and then I got a manager for a little while, and then I had a number of people like on my team, but I've learned that especially in these early stages, it's better to just be all DIY, just do it all on my own. And it seems like it's just like I haven't been bored for like 3 years straight now. But so I'm just wondering, how can I be able to allocate that to other people? Because I keep finding myself having lack of sleep and feeling maybe not low energy, but getting strung out in a certain way where I'm losing my effectiveness and productivity.
I get it. It sounds to me like the first rodeo you had with having individuals around me, you didn't know how to create a scenario where you were dictating what was being done versus having people try to dictate and create tension to what you thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that comes with the inability to have candorous conversations, and you were holding it in because you didn't want to have the confrontation. And then instead what ended up happening at the end is you just kind of set everyone out and cleaned house. But you do need people around you, it sounds like, because you're juggling too many balls and that's not working for you. So I think what you do is when you rehire a team, when you rebuild a team, you speak up front about, hey, I'm an artist and I need to do what I need to do. So when there's things that come up that you think are right and I push back, we're going to go with my way because this is my life. This is my career. And I think once you establish those rules up front, it's going to be easier then for you to have a candorous conversation, and then you move.
Okay, cool.
I just think you were too young the first time, inexperienced, lacked the talent to be a leader. And what ends up happening a lot to young artists is they listen to somebody else because they think they have experience or they know better because it's their own insecurity. But meanwhile, it didn't feel right, right?
That's exactly what happened. And yeah, I'm very like, I'm able to like play guitar and like put a smile on people's faces. But when it comes to the business side of things, that's when it's really like, I'm still building the skill set and everything.
You're a kid.
So yeah,
that's right.
I'm definitely gonna like rewatch this and just really like study this when I'm actually in those situations. So
Tanner, you're in control and you can absolutely handle your business. You just need some reps.
Yeah, very cool.
Cool, brother. Talk to you soon.
Awesome, thank you. And one last thing, I have a song that I'd love to share with you. It's called Sanity, and I have a feeling you'll like it. And I remember you saying a few episodes ago that an artist should pitch to like 1,000 playlists or more and everything. So I noticed that you have a Monday to Monday playlist.
Dustin, get this song, get me it. I'll listen to it this afternoon while I'm working, and then we'll decide if it goes into some content or on Monday to Monday. All right?
Yeah.
Dustin?
I'd love to, if you want to follow me on Instagram, I'd love to DM it to you.
I don't have my phone, but guess what? I will do that too. So Dustin, make sure I do that so I also have to do Mahogany yesterday, Dustin. So can you make sure I do that so I'm a man of my word?
Yep.
Thank you. Cool. Talk to you soon, Tanner.
Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate you a lot. Thank you.
Let's keep it moving. I like the speed today. I like that speed today.
Hello, Gary V. How are you?
I'm extremely well, my friend. What's your name?
My name is Sohail Ali.
Sohail Ali. I love you and your shirt. What's good, brother?
Thank you. I love you too, Gary V. You've changed my mindset for the better. I am, real quick, I'm a child of immigrants. My parents were born in Kabul, Afghanistan. My mom's watching right now. My mom, Shamim. And hi, Mom. And basically,
Where do you live, brother?
Bloomington, Indiana. Bloomington, Indiana. Shout out Indiana University. I just graduated from there.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Study computer engineering and media and advertising. But basically, Gary, I've been a fan of yours since I saw you have the cleanest, objectively, the cleanest bones on Hot Ones by far. And
right?
Yes, to this day. And I don't know what the camera
agree.
was talking about TJ. You're the _1 guest on Hot Ones.
Thank
I had
you.
to get that out there. Anyway,
Thank you.
I've been a fan, consuming all your content since then. I don't want to say it too much, but I do think I've heard everything that I kind of need to hear in the sense of
the foundational blocks.
Yes, absolutely. You've motivated and got me off my ass and inspired me to create my own content, put myself out there in the form of my YouTube channel, which I've been able to gain about 600 some subscribers now, and I'm really grateful for that. So just since the pandemic began.
Good for you.
Really, really appreciate it. But basically, my question for you is, because you talked a lot about voice and how you were right about that, voice taking over everything. And we're already in 5G and AI coming up, and I'm just wondering where you see that impacting communication, advertising, the realm that you're in.
Oh, I mean, look, I think we are at I think the last decade of the internet has given rise to video layered on the internet. The infrastructure is incredible. What you and I are doing right now is, I'm old, you're a youngster. Like the idea of me in New York, you in Indiana, this clean, this many people watching as infrastructure for free. Are you out of your mind? Like that's foreign talk 20 years ago. I think that us walking around our house in 20 years saying Alexa or Apple or Facebook or something else or Google or whoever wins the voice games, or probably 4 to 5 companies that are in the voice game, and being the remote control of all of our activities. Like I don't want to go to my Seamless or Postmates app. I just want to say, Alexa, order me a pizza. And then it says which one. And I'm like, well, what's the hottest pizza right now in the city? And it's replying. Like, I don't think people understand how big of a deal what the 5G lack of lag and the voice pipes of the AI around recognizing, human language. And I mean, I just think the pipes of voice are going to be so substantial. For example, I have a search engine right now. I don't know, you know about this?
Oh yeah.
So Dustin, put this in here. I think it's going to blow a lot of people's mind because I haven't really promoted it yet.
Crazy.
But search.GaryVaynerchuk.com. You can literally type in any word and it will take you directly to where I'm talking about that. Which is just unbelievable, right? And I'm very proud of the team, and big shout out to the team, and I'm really proud of it. However, one of the reasons I built it is in 6 years, when you're walking by and be like, hey Alexa, what did GaryVee, or with the way that world's gonna work, I think it's gonna be like, hey GaryVee, what do you think about patience? And I just start talking. That's, I don't think people understand where this is going. I used to have to go to the library to look up who the 29th president of Spain was. I can get that in 40 seconds now, and so I just don't think that people get how big of a deal it is, and I can't wait. And I'm building a library of information to then be able to layer on those pipes, which will bring more awareness and most importantly, more value.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's awesome. And the reason I was able to get on is because you pinned my comment shouting out Vaniacs in one of your older posts. Shout out to all the Vaniacs, the OG GaryVee fans. That's before, I'm not going to lie, that's before when I caught you. So
you were like 6 when I
know. Vaniacs, we got to bring it back. We got to bring that back. But I do really appreciate it. And I mean, shout out to your team. Shout out to Dustin. Shout out Zane, who got me on. Shout out to everyone who you've curated around you, D-Rock. Shout out Babin, Tyler, everyone whom I've had interactions with that have been nothing but kind, and you've really taught me, empathy and gratitude, and that's really what I've been leading with, and I'm very happy because of it, GaryVee, and I
can't wait to hug in person, brother. I know it will happen.
Absolutely. Can we get? I wanted to get a picture with you real quick. We both just smile. All right, I'll screen cap that. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye bye. Esther, how are you? You're on mute.
Okay, I'm on mute now.
How are you?
I'm pretty excited to meet you.
Thank you.
It's really cool.
Thank you. Where are you right now?
I'm in Los Angeles, 6:46 a.m. here.
I'm impressed. Thank you for getting up early.
So
what's cooking? What can I answer for you?
yeah, so I'll give an intro about me. So my primary job is in tech, but my side hustle is being a DJ. Like, I would not leave tech because I love it too. But who I aspire to be is like David Solomon. He's CEO of Goldman Sachs. He's also a DJ producer. Elon Musk has started to produce good music too. So during this pandemic, I've been like building my brand on Twitch, TikTok. But while DJing started out as a hobby, and I started to monetize off it, and I felt like it was more work than more fun. Like, I started to see like, oh my gosh, it's such a chore setting up. I hate setting up. So I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that.
I've got real thoughts on it. I think that you should stop monetizing it.
Oh. Stop monetizing?
It's okay. It's okay to not monetize it. Like, to me,
true.
I leave money on the table in a million ways because I don't like it. Like, you know, the money's just not worth it. If you took something you loved, actually, I got a great story for you, and it has to do with this hat. One of the riskiest, scariest things I've done in business in the last 30 years was when my brother and I started Vayner Sports, and we started representing football players, because my one escapism was New York Jets football. No matter what, on those Sundays, during the NFL draft, during free agency, no matter how much pressure and negativity I had going on, I would escape into this universe and it would be so happy. And I was scared that us getting into the business would turn it into a business and I wouldn't enjoy it. Luckily, and I was prepared. I even told AJ, I said, hey, I'll do that. We'll do this, but I may not want to do this in a year, because if I start watching Jet games and start rooting for Vayner Sports players over the Jets, it's going to ruin this thing for me. Luckily, I love the Jets so much that I don't even care. When they play Vayner Sports players, I hate the Vayner Sports players because I love the Jets so much. I'm so tribal about it. So it didn't. But I was prepared to like lose money and not do it anymore because I cherished my happiness. For you, you love tech and you're a professional in it and you have a lot of upside. You need to really give thought to not monetizing the DJ stuff, because it might be contaminating your happiness. And here's where it gets really important. This is a very important nuance. You being able to escape into DJ world allows you to be more successful in tech world. So you might be actually losing money because you're monetizing on DJing, but it's corroding that escapism, which doesn't make you as effective in your core business and career, which may limit that upside. So you're throwing off the balance. So even though you're monetizing the DJ monies, you might actually be losing money because you've limited the upside of you on the tech side. I completely believe that my professional success is predicated on my ability to escape to places like garage sailing, sports cards, you know, other interests. And that gives me the fuel to be such a juggernaut in what I do for a living. So I would protect the purity of that DJing at all costs. Fucking stop monetizing.
That's very true.
Makes sense?
Yeah, but I also want to ask, like, how do I stop obsessing over like the viewers, the followers, the subscribers, you know, on Twitch?
Of course. I think that it all depends on your relationship with your own self-esteem and basically the way you played junior high and high school. The biggest thing that what people don't realize is what social media and subscribers have done is it's extended high school dynamics into grown-up life. It's a popularity contest.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that people need to, I mean, I'm a huge proponent, and I'm somebody who's got tens of millions of followers across all these platforms. I'm a huge proponent of hiding follow counts across the board. It would look on paper that it would be not beneficial for me to be the champion of that, but I just want more happiness. And I do not believe that the following count numbers are bringing happiness. I think it's bringing anxiety. Now, I don't think that's YouTube and Instagram and TikTok's fault. I think that's the human's fault.
Yeah.
You know, the way for you to stop obsessing is by stop obsessing. And what I mean by that, Esther, is that you need to realize that you just love the DJing so much, it's almost irrelevant if anybody's watching. For example, I was garage sailing for the last 25 years. I don't do garage sale videos and flip content for my social. I just happened to document something I always did. Nobody was watching me. Nobody gave a fuck. I just loved it. So I don't care if it does well or it doesn't do well. My sports card videos on my Instagram don't do as well as my other stuff. I just don't give a fuck.
Okay, that makes sense.
Happiness over everything.
Okay, self-care and happiness over everything.
Over everything. It just doesn't matter. Like the market always underestimates people. Like, do not use that as affirmation. You know, if you just do it because you love doing it, a lot of the things that you want to happen will happen, or you'll realize, hey, there's just a lot of people that are way better at DJ. I love playing basketball. There's probably 4 billion people that are better at basketball than me, but that doesn't stop me from playing basketball. And I think too many people right now are like, well, I only have 8,000 followers. Well, guess what? You weren't meant to be Beyonce. You weren't meant to be Marshmello, you know, or Avicii. And that's super fine because you're doing it because you fucking actually love it. Like, that's more than enough.
You're right. Yeah.
That. I wish you nothing but success.
Thank you. Wait, can I ask one more question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so you know, in a DJing side, like it goes hand in hand with alcohol. And I know maybe this isn't a question for you, but I find it more fun to stream while drinking, but I really want to separate the two. Is that funny? It's a real problem.
Well, is it a problem? Are you getting blackout drunk, or are you just getting a little loose and having fun?
Half, honestly.
Okay, well, listen. You know, I'm not sure I'm equipped to handle like true like substance abuse, but look, I think look, having fun is something we need to put on a pedestal. You know, if you're doing in the confines of your home and you're not endangering anybody, or more importantly yourself, and putting yourself in precarious spots, I think the question becomes, are you using that to disguise your insecurity while you're doing it? Is a very important question.
Maybe.
That.
Okay.
Listen to me, Esther. If you can get a relationship with the judgment of others, and you take down the value of other people's voice, and you take up the value of your own voice, you will be blown away by how much better life starts fucking clicking.
Thank you. You sound like my therapist.
Sometimes. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much.
You know what, Dustin? I think we're going to wrap with that because I have a big meeting I got to prep for a little bit, and I just need these 6 minutes. That was a good one. Can we clip that? I think that one in itself is just going to help a lot of people. There was a lot of things. I don't know what the fuck we're going to name it, but it's me and DJ Woo Woo chopping. Everybody, please share squad. Hope you share this. Hope people get on. Dustin, are we live tomorrow?
I believe so.
Because
we are.
And do we have URLs that people can RSVP for? Like to me, the thing I'm trying to figure out is how to get this incredible nation to recruit more people in the day before. So there's like a bigger watch party at 9 a.m. But then we RSVP with Facebook, and then it was fucked up. Can we do that with YouTube? Like, where are we at? I thought YouTube, we can do that and it's working. Can we get our shit together as a team so that, like, for example, when we have an epic episode like this, everyone gets motivated, and I could say, like, bring 4 friends tomorrow, and there's actually like a URL instead of like, oh, just look for Gary's social pop up. Like, we need to figure that out, like, in a much more functional, operational way.
Someone suggested if you could, well, like, this person was specifically asking for LinkedIn, and they asked if you could just send the community text out with the link.
You mean the community text, like text everybody through my 212-931-5731?
Yeah.
I just don't want to bother everybody. You know what?
Yeah.
Actually, we should start a push notification URL, subgroup on community. You know how we do the hashtag thing? Talk to Jim. Let's definitely do that. But I think we need to do a better job. But like, hey, everybody, let's in a ghetto way, in a scrappy way, in a dirt way, please get a viewing party for tomorrow's show. And then in the comment section, tell me how you did it. What did you use? I do think, Dustin, we can set up a YouTube URL, right?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't seem very confident with that response.
Yeah.
Or at least not.
I mean, we have a YouTube. Yeah, we have good to do YouTube.
Tomorrow, can you stage up the Hot Ones episode to end when I end? Yeah, tomorrow, because I think a lot of people haven't seen it and they should.
The whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. It's like 30 minutes.
Explain to me which part of this you don't think people are going to watch it, or you don't want to do the work to prep it.
No, I just don't know if people are going to watch it, but I also don't. I have to figure out how I can actually stream it, because
that's the part you're actually saying. Because your first answer, is ludicrous shit. Of course, they're going to watch it.
All right, I'll figure it out.
What do you think we're doing around here?
You're right.
Yeah, figure it out, bro. See ya. Bye, everyone. Hit me up on Twitter right now. I'm prepping for 3 minutes, and I just want to see what everybody's love is. GaryVee on Twitter. No question, the place where I interact the most. If you've not signed up for Twitter, you're making a huge mistake. GaryVee. I'll see ya.